struggling because it was wet and it was muddy and we were getting 20 miles a day. And although at the same time we were experiencing the beauty of Mongolia and the remoteness of life there and the way that people live their life there.
Do you know what it feels like to be helpless because you have no one to fend for you? Well, that's the story of Jamyan before the arrival of Ewan McGregor. When we talk of celebrity actors who have positively touched the world by adopting less privileged kids, Ewan McGregor is undoubtedly one of them. He is currently a father to 5 kids, 2 of whom were adopted. In truth, one could only imagine what would have become of these kids if someone like Ewan had not stepped in. Join us as we examine the story of his adopted daughter 18 years ago. This girl was adopted when she was only 4 years old. She was one of the children left in a shelter where they had access to little or no resources. Today, we will explore how she was adopted, her relationship with Ewan McGregor and her other siblings, and most importantly, where she is today. Are you ready for this? Let us get into it. The adoption of Jamyan McGregor. Many couples adopt because they find it difficult to give birth to their children. Many people in Hollywood do not hide their struggles with fertility when adopting children. However, in the case of Ewan McGregor and Eve Mavrakis, it's purely an act of compassion as they had kids of their own. In 2006, the couple took a huge step in the right direction by adopting Jamyan, a 4-year-old girl from Mongolia. Again, McGregor and Mavrakis had already established a loving home with their 2 biological daughters, Clara and Esther. However, adopting Jamyan gave their family a fullness they had not even anticipated. The adoption started after McGregor traveled to Mongolia for a motorcycle journey as part of his 2004 documentary series, Long Way Round. While there, he witnessed the conditions faced by children in need. Their standard of living was so pathetic that he couldn't get rid of the sight from his mind for a long time. The experience left a lasting impression on him so much that he started tossing around the idea of adopting one of them in his mind. Like others who adopt to improve their social status and put up a front, McGregor's motivation was purely rooted in shared values of compassion and the desire to make a difference in the world. Although McGregor didn't grant a series of interviews to say the specific reason he made the adoption, he has often talked about his dedication to his family and the causes close to his heart. According to sources, McGregor's visit to Mongolia showed many people who had been living in their cocoons until then, oblivious to the outside world and the hardships faced by many children in orphanages. This choice to adopt was more about opening their hearts and homes to someone in need than about adding a child to the family. It was to help a child who could benefit from the stability and love they could provide.
And we were both massively moved by it.
Nothing could have prepared me for how young the children were there. There was girls there that were 2 years.
For McGregor and Mavrakis, the adoption process was a commitment, and they embraced Jamyan wholeheartedly. First, they started by integrating her fully into their family, but it wasn't exactly a cakewalk as she was already 4 years old at the time of her adoption. Yes, Jamyan's arrival was a huge change for her, but more than that, it was a meaningful transformation for the entire family. Clara and Esther, who were still young at the time, were, for the most part, thrilled to have someone else to play with, so all they did was welcome their new sister with open arms. McGregor and Mavrakis knew that the best they could do was to create a nurturing environment where all 3 daughters could bond and grow together, and that was precisely what they did. Although he didn't expect it, the adoption of Jamyan became a eureka moment for McGregor as both a father and a person. In interviews, McGregor has spoken about the joy and fulfillment his children bring him, and he has always talked about the importance of being present in their lives. While his commitment as a father was never in question, adopting Jamyan increased this trait in multiple folds as he became more open to embracing a love that transcends family ties. Also, this decision to adopt a child from the middle of nowhere endeared him to his fans worldwide. Remember, McGregor's reason for taking in Jamyan wasn't to impress the public. However, they couldn't help but be impacted by his angelic gesture. His fans and the public saw him as a dedicated father who values love, compassion, and family above all else. Through Jamyan's adoption, McGregor and Mavrakis created a home that celebrates diversity, kindness, and the importance of family, no matter how it is formed. Before we go further, what does Ewan McGregor's family look like before this addition? Keep watching to find out. Ewan McGregor's early family life. Ewan McGregor is one of the most sought-after Hollywood actors. While his looks will always make filmmakers think about him before most actors, his talent to bring his roles alive is another thing that has set him apart from the pack. More than that, his ability to balance an exciting career in Hollywood with family is worth making into a book for others to learn from. Or, better yet, a movie. After all, that's where he shines. McGregor quickly became a household name after breaking into the film industry with notable roles in movies like Trainspotting and later as Obi-Wan Kenobi in Star Wars. However, the demands of his rising fame did not make him lose sight of his family life. If anything, he worked hard to keep his family from breaking up due to the need and pressure to provide for the same family. Like most marriages, Ewan McGregor and Eve Mavrakis had its beginning, the sweet spot in the middle, and its unexpected end. McGregor and Mavrakis, a French production designer, met on the British TV show Kavanagh QC set in 1995. They quickly connected, and before anyone could say Jack, they announced their marriage, which was the beginning of a 22-year-old union. During their marriage, McGregor has often credited Eve Mavrakis with being a strong, grounding force in his life, especially as he steered the ship of a flourishing career in Hollywood.
I want to take a moment to just say thank you to Ev, who always stood by me for 22 years, and my 4 children, Clara, Esther, Jamian.
Their first daughter, Clara, was born in 1996. 5 years later, they welcomed their second daughter, whom they named Esther in 2001. As working-class people get their paychecks in the ever-busy and competitive Hollywood, both McGregor and Mavrakis put their families first. If you recall, Ewan had one of the most demanding schedules anyone could have around the time he was raising his daughters. With major franchises like Star Wars, many would not have time for other time-consuming duties like parenting. However, Ewan was up to the task, and if he was sweating under his fancy shirt and jacket, he never showed it. In an interview with People magazine, McGregor talked about how he valued time with his family. He shared that his children brought a sense of stability and joy. Their family setting was characterized by his wife, Mavrakis' devotion to a low-profile and private life, which complemented McGregor's public career. Over the years, the couple expanded their family through adoption, where they welcomed Jamian from Mongolia in 2006, and then their fourth daughter, Anouk, in 2011. Unfortunately, the couple's marriage faced its share of challenges. At first, they thought they could manage it, but eventually they had to go their separate ways in 2017, after over 2 decades of living together. But hold on a second, what could cause their divorce? Well, there is always a reason, as there is no smoke without fire. Around this time, McGregor was rumored to be romantically involved with actress Mary Elizabeth Winstead, his co-star in the TV series Fargo. This relationship was confirmed when the two were seen together publicly and started making headlines afterward. People magazine reported that McGregor and Winstead had grown close during filming, and this new relationship played a role in the end of McGregor's marriage. In 2020, McGregor and Mavrakis finalized their divorce after 22 solid years of loving each other and raising children. In interviews, McGregor stated that the separation was difficult, but that both were focused on co-parenting their children. With his first wife out of the picture, McGregor's relationship with Winstead continued to progress quickly, and in 2021, the couple welcomed a son, Laurie. The birth of Laurie, according to Vanity Fair, brought a renewed sense of family into McGregor's life. He described the experience of raising a young child again as wonderful. He continued by saying that fatherhood had changed him over the years and helped him see what matters most as what they are. McGregor and Winstead married on May 2022 in a small ceremony with only close friends and family present to seal their marriage. Throughout these changes, McGregor has expressed a deep appreciation for the support of his children and his commitment to balancing family life with his career. Let's see how Jamian was able to blend with this unique family. Growing up in the McGregor family. As a child taken from a poor shelter in Mongolia, settling in an ideal family was initially strange. But how did Jamian settle and fit in? Ewan McGregor knew what they were into, so they didn't shy away from the task. Jamian McGregor eased into the family setting, and soon she began growing up in a loving environment, which, quite frankly, was different from the one she had always known. After a while, she started to see herself as a part of the McGregor family, where she now has parents, Ewan McGregor and Eve Mavrakis, and 3 lovely siblings, Clara, Esther, and later, Anouk, who was also adopted in 2011. Jamyan's childhood in the McGregor household was filled with warmth, adventure, and family bonds. Her parents provided a home where she could be properly nurtured and shed the impoverished life she grew up knowing. Jamyan's bond with her father was especially strong. McGregor, known for his busy Hollywood career, made a point to spend quality time with his children. While it was indeed a tall order to balance his acting career with family life, McGregor was not the type of father to be found wanting. In interviews, McGregor has spoken about the joy of fatherhood. He said his love for his children is a constant reminder he needed, while his career was also crying for all his attention. For other people, fame was needed before they ditched other important things like family. But as one can tell, Ewan McGregor's fame didn't bring out the monster in him. He preferred a down-to-earth approach with his children and ensured they stayed close-knit and supportive of each other. This is no whitewashing. Photos and stories are shared on social media to prove that the family enjoys activities together, such as traveling to simple family picnics and even industry events. Through these public glimpses, one can see how close Jamyan is to her father and siblings. Growing up with her 3 sisters, Jamyan has no choice but to develop strong sibling bonds. Clara, the eldest, has often shared images of Jamyan and the family on social media to show their close connection. While this could be interpreted as playing to the gallery by some people, Clara has shared many sibling times to prove otherwise. The siblings shared countless memories, from family outings to vacations where they explored the world. As their father is an ardent lover of travel and culture, the family has been seen attending film premieres and similar events together. This lifestyle would undoubtedly have eluded Jamyan if McGregor had not adopted her. McGregor's approach to parenting is admirable, rooted in discipline and love in reasonable proportions. Among the values McGregor instilled in her include kindness, strength in the face of adversity, and openness to the world. His parenting style also focused on creating a positive environment where each child could pursue their interests while respecting each other's individuality. Jamyan and her siblings were encouraged never to forget where they came from and pursue their passions, whether in arts, activism, or exploring new places.
You find that balance of passing that on to the next generation.
I think so much of how we bring up our kids is to do with how we were brought up. And that's either because you think that we were brought up in a good way.
McGregor's dedication to his family was evident when he publicly supported his children's endeavors, like Clara's modeling and acting career. This further shows the bond he shares with them. His influence as a father helped raise Jamyan while emphasizing love, unity, and the importance of family connections. This measure of support to his biological children was what he gave Jamyan in her life pursuit, but don't be in haste. You will find out soon enough. Jamyan's teenage years and education. Jamyan's teenage years and the kind of education she received were leagues different from what she would have experienced if she had not been adopted. As Jamyan McGregor entered her teenage years, she enjoyed the supportive and creative environment her adoptive parents provided her. During these years, she developed her unique interests and pursued several activities that allowed her to explore her talents and passions. Like her siblings, Jamyan was raised to find and embrace her identity while also having the freedom to try out different hobbies and interests. To a certain degree, her parents were conscious of sharing everything about her on social media, so not all details of her teenage years are publicly known. However, when she was old enough to own a phone, she caught the social media fever and started sharing glimpses of her life on Instagram and Facebook. Jamyan attended elementary school in Los Angeles, where her father primarily resided. She graduated from the California boarding school Besant Hill School of Happy Valley in 2020. In addition to academics, she pursued a range of extracurricular activities and hobbies. McGregor, who values creativity and exploration, has spoken openly about encouraging his children to pursue their interests, a philosophy that shaped Jamyan's upbringing. She developed a love for physical activities and sports and shared a passion for travel and exploration. Her Instagram occasionally reveals snapshots of her hiking or being outdoors. What other evidence does one need to know that Jamyan likes where she is? As a child of a prominent actor, Jamyan's teenage years were more interesting than those of many of her peers. Imagine knowing the next film to be released in Hollywood. Not only that, how would you feel if you knew and had access to many top-rated celebrities in the industry? Jamyan's outings with her parents during her teenage years included public appearances at events such as movie premieres, where she was often seen alongside her father and siblings. Attending these events showed that she had fully integrated into the family and how strong her bond with McGregor was, as he encouraged his children to stay connected with his work. This is to help build their interest in acting and adventure. They loved what they were seeing. And guess what? It paid off, but not with Jamyan. Throughout her teenage years, McGregor was there to help her deal with the pressure of being a celebrity daughter. Despite his busy career, he made time to guide and support her. Another phase that Jamyan had to wade through was knowing she was different from her siblings. Being a Mongolian, she had different skin tones and hair, and for a while, this bothered her, especially when her friends began to taunt her. The silver lining was that she was loved deeply by her parents and siblings. With the amount of acceptance she was shown at home, she soon shed the shame and accepted herself for who she was. Her public appearances with McGregor. Throughout her childhood and teenage years, Jamyan McGregor made several appearances at many public events with her father, Ewan McGregor. This is not new to actors and actresses. They like to make their spouses or children their plus one. Also, this gives fans a glimpse of the close bond they share. Each moment, from red carpet premieres to family outings, shows how they handle their success or fame while keeping a relationship or raising a family. In the case of Ewan McGregor, one of the most memorable appearances came when Jamyan attended the premiere of Christopher Robin in 2018. According to People magazine, Jamyan was all smiles alongside her father. It was evident to everyone present that they share an affectionate bond. This premiere was particularly notable as it was one of the few times McGregor's children appeared publicly with him. It created a significant media buzz at a time when all major media outlets wanted a picture and exclusive. In addition to high-profile film premieres, Jamyan went with McGregor at other events, such as charity galas and movie awards. Her presence makes it clear to fans that McGregor is cracking it at being a father. According to Entertainment Weekly, McGregor balances public and private lives well. For one, he can take his children to join him in selected events without subjecting them to the intense media attention he receives. The A-list actor often spoke warmly of his family in interviews. Once he said, "My children are my everything." However, Ewan McGregor was mindful of maintaining privacy for his children, especially Jamyan. McGregor often described fatherhood as a balancing act, where he tries not to let his love for having his children in his life rob them of a normal upbringing. He has seen how the paparazzi practically rub celebrities and their children of would-have-been perfect family moments. The Guardian reported that while McGregor is public with his children's milestones and joys, he refrains from sharing intimate family details to protect their privacy. This respect for boundaries has enabled Jamyan to enjoy a balance of public exposure and personal space. As she grew older, her attendance at events became less frequent. She began to transition into a more private life. Yet, when they did step out together, Jamyan and her father's warmth and closeness captivated public attention, with media outlets like Hello magazine often commenting on the loving relationship apparent in their shared smiles and laughter. Through these appearances, Jamyan became known to McGregor's fans, and they started looking forward to seeing her at these events. Ewan McGregor's reflections on family and adoption. Ewan McGregor has spoken warmly about his experiences as a father, especially about the impact of adopting Jamyan. In several interviews, he has shared awareness about how adoption has improved his understanding of love and commitment within a family in People magazine. McGregor communicated his belief that family is not built only on blood relations, but also on mutual respect, love, and support. He stated that adopting Jamyan opened his eyes to the different bonds between parent and child, even when they do not share biological ties. He has also often stressed the importance of being fully present as a parent. He often credited his children, including Jamyan, for keeping him leveled, even during his fame. In an interview with The Guardian, McGregor said adoption enriched his life in many ways. It taught me new perspectives and brought immeasurable joy to my family. He recalled his approach to parenting as inclusive and supportive, especially as he raised his children while maintaining a busy career in Hollywood. He shared that fatherhood had been a transformative journey that encouraged him to value family moments and build a nurturing environment where each child, including Jamyan, could flourish. McGregor's open introspections have added depth to public perceptions of his family. He mentioned in Vanity Fair that becoming an adoptive father changed his outlook, as it brought a different layer of understanding about differences inherent in his children and the importance of identity. On September 24, when Ewan McGregor was awarded his Hollywood Walk of Fame, he mentioned each of his children and their chosen craft. He said, "What privilege I got to play Clara's dad and be Clara's dad simultaneously." He continued, "It was an amazing thing, and we made this movie super personal for us." But he was just starting. He turned his speech to his second daughter, Esther, who has also followed in his footsteps and has acted in many film projects like Bleeding Love and Obi-Wan Kenobi, a mini-series. In his words, McGregor said, "I worked with my daughter, Esther, who I was just visiting in Halifax in Nova Scotia. I was inspired by her passion and enthusiasm for what we do." Then, he went on to talk about Jamyan. Many people expecting him to talk about her acting career were slightly disappointed, albeit impressed when he said, "I won't be acting with Jamyan because she wants to be a detective." Then he went further, "She's cutting her path, and we are so proud of you, Jamyan, for everything you are doing and the things you will be doing with your life." Jamyan's current life. Jamyan is studying criminal justice at Mitchell College in New London, Connecticut. She is set to earn her degree in 2024. On her Facebook profile, she describes herself as a women's rights activist, equestrian swimmer, and international traveler. In June 2023, Jamyan shared that she got her first tattoo. She decided to write M, which stands for McGregor. "But that's not all," she added. McGregor Family Strong on her left hand. In 2021, Esther, McGregor's second biological daughter, posted a touching tribute to her on Jamyan on Instagram. "Happy birthday, Jams." Then she added a love emoji. In the same birthday post, she wrote, "So thankful to have a best friend and sister to go through each step of life with." She captioned photos of them posing together. "You're a star. The funniest soul I know. I love you." As Jamyan McGregor grows older, she gradually builds a life of her own while maintaining close ties with her family. She only posts on special days like birthdays and family outings to protect her privacy. This allows her to balance her private life and the visibility that comes with being Ewan McGregor's daughter. Her relationship with her siblings, Clara, Esther, and Anouk, is reasonably close, and they support one another in various personal and professional pursuits. Clara, the oldest McGregor sibling, works as an actress and producer and has appeared alongside their father in movies like The Birthday Cake. Clara's active presence in the film industry has made her a bit more of a public figure, and she often posts about her family, including Jamyan, on her social media channels. Esther, the second daughter, who is also artistically inclined, has tried her hands in music. One would have thought a long career awaits her in entertainment, as she has a handful of clips of her singing and playing guitar available online. Jamyan and Esther have shared their mutual appreciation for creative arts, and though they rarely appear in the spotlight together, their social media interactions hint at a strong sibling relationship. What do you think about Jamyan? Do you think she's making the right choice by not following in her father's footsteps? Let us know in the comment section below. If you enjoy this video, don't hesitate to like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more interesting videos.